it's the proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally here, because that day, and that hour, and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets, and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. It was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, Season 2, Episode 18. Connor, it's that time of the week again.
Certainly is, Kevin. Doesn't be long coming around.
That's for sure. And I think we're in post-Donegal Rally Blues at the minute. It's just a difficult week this week. But, you know, on the positive side of it, we speak to the historic winners, Michael McDaid and Declan Casey from the weekend. We also catch up with second place finisher is Duncan Williams and Guy Weaver. They had a strong run and good points there for them in the championship, so looking good there. Last week we spoke to Mc Connon, the social media influencer who's looking forward to taking part, and we thought it'd be nice to catch up with him and kind of get his reaction to the event. And then finally in Donegal news, we spoke to Josh Harris. That's a fantastic story. I think you really will enjoy that one. And then finally, also on last weekend was a round of the ERC. Like Josh McErlean, you know, every week or every few weeks we keep saying, like, he's had a fantastic run. This is absolutely amazing what he's doing, and every time he comes back out again, he defies us and goes one better again. But more of that later in the week. But Connor, Donegal last weekend. Hopefully we'll have more to talk about next week. We'll be hope to talk to some of the top crews. But what an event once again.
It was a great event. Enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it. Ran smoothly. A couple of delays here and there. Not too badly affected by the weather, and just some cracking battles throughout the field. It was, really was. It was a fantastic rally now to go and spectate on.
It really was this year. I know I'm biased. I have to put my hat on and say that, but it was epic. You know, what can we say? Callum Devine just wasn't not going to let that one get away from him. Once he got on the groove after the first loop on Friday, Josh had already put up a wee bit of a lead. You know, Callum started chipping away at it, and then Saturday morning, if just a few seconds behind, come Saturday morning, he wasn't finishing second. He was out there to win, and Matt Edwards as well too. Matt, had an issue in the very first stage, and could have put his head down and huffed, but no, he stuck at it. Josh coming back, defending his crown, done superbly. With still, he was within striking distance of Callum, and then unfortunately slid off the road on Sunday afternoon. But in treacherous conditions, it was somebody was going to blink, and unfortunately it was Josh. It was just, and that's only the top three. The rest of the top 10, the modifieds, every class, it was just outstanding.
Oh, listen, it was just incredible. I felt a little bit robbed by Matt Edwards' difficulties with the diff on Friday, but by God, he did not give up, and he brought that car back, and really did claw on sometimes. And when you look at Knockalla, 9.6 seconds ahead of the rest on Knockalla, and in mixed conditions, damp roads, all the rest of it, and he wouldn't be that familiar with this stage. Just incredible.
Yeah, because we keep hearing, Donegal, you have to go a few times to get to know the roads. Matt Edwards and Dave Monahan has defied that logic. It really has, and that should be a welcoming card for other crews to make the journey as well too, because that old adage about you need so many times to do the classic stages, that just blew that out of the way as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, absolutely did. And again, even on Friday, new stages didn't really shake the field up that much, So again, that whole piece where the local knowledge, it just goes to prove that the guys do it and do it competitively. It's not based on how well they know those stages.
No, the cream always rises to the top, and that goes again, not just overall, but right throughout the field, the modifieds, everything. It was, everybody says, the stages on Friday won't suit Kevin Gallagher and the Darien, who was leading the modified after day one, so you can't keep a good man down, that's what I always say. And like the historics got, they started Saturday morning and then they were Saturday into Sunday. Yeah, there were effectively a few, beyond anybody's control. There were a few blockages in the stage, and they lost a few stages. But it was again a fantastic battle. Unfortunately, we lost Tommy Connell and Marty McCormick quite early on, but the other guys there had fantastic battle on, and great to see Michael McDaid and Declan Casey take the one. Declan has put so much into historic rallying over the last couple of years. He's one of the guys that's been helping to really raise the profile and all. But anyway, no point in me telling you all about it. I'll catch up with the guys here now. And first of all, I started out by asking Michael, was how good did it feel to get the one?
Absolutely delighted. It was, I suppose, one of them days of a mixed bag of stuff, because the first day we the lead coming out of the spark plug, the plug lead, it popped up. So over the jump, the square left into the jump at Nagala, where it throws the whole cars off.
Glenvar.
What do you call it?
Glenvar.
Apologies. I should know that at this stage. The car got all fluffy and went off a cylinder, so we were very badly down in Paris. We lost with 40 seconds at the end of that stage. By the end of it, I thought the rally was over. We were just going back in, probably thinking, right, this is it. Something's wrong with the engine. But then when we rang, we got a phone call to say try the lead. So at the end of the stage, we lifted the bonnet. There was the lead sitting up. We popped her back in, and hey, she was back and going again. Couldn't believe it. So then we got back into service and we got going again. So we had a really good run then the second half. Saturday, we put in a good times there. And then we had a good enough lead. It was unfortunate, I suppose, that some of the boys were out, like Barney and Adrian, because they would have been the men to obviously test to see where you're at. Like, to be fair to Duncan, Duncan really pushed us to the end, and he set a really good time at the last stage, So we were going into the last stage with your head's fried, because you're thinking, okay, I have 30 seconds, but I'm not sure what to do. You still have to drive the stage,
Yeah.
And you see the slippy stuff in the last third was very slippy under trees, and you're being apprehensive, you just think, God, I just need to get home.
It's one of them. You could so easily do something silly, but you have to just keep your head about you.
It's trying to keep the level of just and do what you normally do, because we found before, if you try to take it easier, the mistakes happen quicker. So no, we finished. We were happy enough, and to be fair, there's great crack all day. That, like Declan says this all the time, the Historics are a great group of bunch of lads.
Sure.
Everyone's wishing each other well, and more well wishers and shaking hands, and it's great to see it. And nobody's, everybody is obviously looking out for you, and they're wishing you well, and I think that's great. It's great to be there.
For sure. And Declan, me and you have spoke before. Like Donegal has been the rally you've been going to for over 20 years now at this stage. To finally stand on that ramp with that bottle of champagne in your hand, it is like dreams come true stuff for you.
Yeah, very much so, Kevin. I've been going to the Donegal rally since my leaving cert year of 1994. Haven't missed one unless it was cancelled otherwise. Same B&B, same breakfast, same house lady, Celine, all time. And I have a good buddy with me who's been there all along the journey, Hughie Sheehan in Kilcorny. And Hughie was there on the ramp Sunday evening when we came in, and it was a really special moment, to be fair. Long time coming. Myself and Michael have been getting some good results in the last couple of years, and it was fantastic to get it over the line in the finish.
Yeah, for sure. And Duncan, from your point of view, you've been a strong supporter of the historic Irish Championship now for the last couple of years. To see another winner, as much as you would like to win yourself, to see a new name in the role of honour, it speaks volumes for the championship, how competitive it is.
It does, and I was delighted that both Michael and Declan got that win, because as you just said, Declan has been going to Donegal for many years, and he thoroughly deserves that win, from his side of the seat. But Michael's very, very fast. We know that. We've been up against Mike in the past on the Irish rounds. They both come over to the UK for the forestry rallies, and they can show what they can do on the gravel as well. I think it's quite odd, the fact that we're going from the UK to Ireland on the ferry, right, and they're going from Ireland to UK on the similar ferry in the opposite direction. It's quite funny, really.
You're like ships that pass in the night a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. maybe there's a ferry deal there to come from somewhere.
Definitely would help.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It would. The cost of ferries is crazy, isn't it? Really, when you're doing a few events, the
gone up a lot.
Take a look at the deal. Mm.
And Guy, like you've been competing for I don't know, we'll not even say how many years. Like, does Donegal still hold a very special place for you too? Like a 2-day, iconic stages.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like the challenge of the longer, bigger event combined with the recce. Get a good bit of teamwork, do a proper good bit of homework on the event and learn about the rally. The town. You're there longer as well. When we come over sort of on the Wednesday, so you're away from home sort of 6 days. To come and do the rally. You are, and it's just Donegal's a real good challenge. The stages are tough and fast in places, very, very fast.
And this year in particular, the Saturday, the Sunday, like the weather conditions were so changeable. Like that's really teamwork comes into that there. Like it's trying to pick the right tires, and then if you're on the wrong tires, you have to be able to communicate with your driver. Like, don't be doing anything silly here. Hold them back when it needs to be, and push them on when it needs to be as well.
Yes. We had lots of issues with the weather. We kept looking at the weather app, and the weather app kept saying rain. It did, and like Michael and Declan.
I think Declan hacked our phones. So we had a different weather forecast to everybody else.
Yeah, because Michael and Declan went one way. They went like on a dry setup with the dry tyres, and they'd have been caught out if it rained. And we went like with the wet tyres. As per the rain, it was supposed to pour down, but nothing came. And we got a bit caught out with that. We did, but hey-o.
To be fair, I think most of Saturday the time difference is taken by being on the wrong bloody tyres on our part. That's because when you look at all the other stage times, it's all very, very close when we're on the same time.
Yeah, to within a second or so.
Yeah. I blame Guy.
Thank you.
And then Sunday, I think you spent more time changing tyres than doing stages.
We did.
Well, they cancelled
them. Changed the tyres onto the correct tyres. The stage got cancelled.
We were the only ones there with the wet tyres.
Yeah,
we cancelled the stage.
We were very upset about that, Guy.
Yes.
But I think that was a get out of jail for us.
For sure. But Michael, from your point of view, whenever you're on the same tyres, to be matching guys like Duncan there, to the second, that you said before that you nearly preferred gravel to the tarmac. To be at that level, that has to please you.
Yeah, when you're at the gravel, it's really, you love it. But then you don't realise when you go back to the tar how fast the tar is. It's just unreal, especially Donegal. The stages are, flat out stuff at the back of the gala. It's actually hairy stuff, and the talk of it is you have to grow a set sometimes by that back straights, But it's mad the difference, because gravel, you're in second, third year, very rarely in fourth, But there's a lot of times there where you're flat out in your fifth year, and you're watching. Believe it or not, you're flat out, but you're watching the clock because Paul Sherwood's telling you, hey, don't you be going above 9,000 revs for too long, because the oil pump doesn't like it. It's not strong enough, and it'll damage your engine long term. We don't want to be doing any more rebuilds in the next year or so.
We only rev ours to 7,000, just to be safe.
Hey, yeah, right.
That's the problem.
Probably my fault again as well.
Yes.
Your water bottle is under the accelerator, I'd say, Guy.
Yeah. And Declan, we keep talking about this Irish Historic Championship. It keeps going from strength to strength. Like this year, every event that's been starting 25 plus. It says volumes for Irish Rally at the moment.
Yeah, it seems to be getting stronger. We had Marion Evans, I think, won in Galway, and then the guys here, Duncan and Guy, won in West Cork and Killarney. Trevor Wilson won in the Circuit of Ireland, and Michael won in Donegal. So like that's fantastic straight away. There's nobody win them all, you know. And then for next year, I was talking to a few lads coming down the car today because I had plenty of time. There's a lot of Welsh crews. A lot of Welsh crews are planning already for next year. Lots of new cars being built and lots of plans being made to get across to us. We were being held back a little bit by the 25 rule, but Kevin O'Riordan, the COC in Cork, 20, he's after negotiating that we can use any excess spaces that are left up by the juniors. So we can, in theory, have up 35 or 40 based on recent junior numbers. And of course, in the Cork 20 now, we also have the new development that we're actually going to run first on the road. So we're hoping that might encourage a few more people to come out, because when you're running at the back, you do lose a lot of stages. And like we saw in the last couple of days, we lost 2 on Saturday and we lost 3 yesterday. So we lost 5 out of 12. Was it 12? 14?
14.
14. We lost 5 out of 14. Like you're talking a third of the rally.
Yeah. Through no fault of the organisers.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Just, but just pure bad luck.
No, but if we were running at the front for the last 2 days, we would have got 14.
Yeah.
And that'll make a big difference to the fella that's going to put his money on the table and enter the rally.
Yeah. And you get more bang for your buck as such.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like Duncan, like, you know, that running first on the road too, that makes it even more appealing for yourself to make the journey over.
It does. I mean, coming all the way over to Ireland, it's you're making that commitment to travel, and we want to do as many stages as we can. We want to do the full rally in every stage, you know, from stage 1 to the last stage of the event. We don't want to start at stage 6 or stage 7. We'd rather do, while we're there, you know, we've come across on the ferry. We want to do all the stages. We don't mind paying the full whack. You know, it's we don't want to come back next week and do another 3. We want to do the lot. Yeah, you know, because the great stages we don't want to miss out.
Can I just come in there for a second?
Yeah.
Kevin has also said that in the Cork 20, we're not going to be treated as historics as such. So the 25 rule does not even apply to this rally. He's going to put us in as main field competitors. So we could have 130 historics if you want. But
that'd be interesting.
There's no limit to the historic entries. So if anyone is interested, I would be telling them, drive on. Yeah. You're fairly sure to get an entry, you know.
Sorry, can I ask, why is the rule 25?
We'll have to ask Motorsport Ireland about that.
Is that insurance or something, is it?
I can't answer that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I know I kind of 50 entries between the juniors and the historics, isn't it? And it was kind of split down, I think it was the idea. But yeah.
I think it's because they're addendums, basically. They work on a natural wastage from the 160 down, and they work on losing so many cars and then top them up. Because if you look at like a 2-day rally or even a 3-day rally, the juniors come in at a different point when more have dropped out. So as you're always keeping the amount going. And I think the 25 has just been a number that's just been arrived at that fits that criteria. Somebody must have done some research many moons ago as to what numbers drop out.
It was probably back when 25 was a lot for historic numbers, you know, whereas recently we've been reaching it and going over it and starting to have reserve entry lists for historics, which is very uncommon.
For sure. But that's fantastic to see. And like, you know, yeah, like, you know, you're talking about like, 20, 25, could be up to 30 in events. Like that's come back to, to being a rally all of its own. That is like going there and not having just 2-3 competitors to compete against. There's maybe 10, 15 guys there. It's all going hoping to win.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the more you've got, as Michael said earlier, the more you've got, people to compete against, to test yourself against, and the quality of the entry and this, that and the other. That's what we want, really. It is. And it'll bring the spectators out. There's no two ways about it. There's plenty of, the historics are very, very quick.
Mhm.
They are. You know, when you look at when you get reseeded, if the event chooses to do that, where you're running and you're running, you know, where you're running in the main field and that, you know, they're good times and yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
because you could.
definitely running at the front will hopefully bring a few more out.
Yeah, because like the times the guys are setting, and they're up there with the class 13 guys and nipping at the heels of the class 14 guys, and like tires and everything else, it's not to the same level.
Yeah, and well, the brakes as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You
More
know,
importantly, yeah.
it's all right going fast, but you've got to stop sometime. You have, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. No, you know, there's some good historic, you know, pilots about. The cars are reliable, the formulas sort of set in time, and yeah, it's just great camaraderie and just brilliant fun.
Mhm.
There's
And
plenty of UK historic crews that have said a number of times they'd like to come across to Ireland and give one of producing the, you know, historics at the front in Cork 20. It might appeal them to come across this time. It's things like that that will bring people across. Fair play to Kevin for organising that.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And Michael, would getting the opportunity to run at the front of the field, would that encourage you to put an entry in then for Cork as well?
Definitely. Well, I'll be putting one in anyway, but it definitely is a big draw because it's there's a couple of factors. Like you're getting a run early. So if you have a long journey, like the guys may have making a boat and stuff to England, that's a factor.
Mhm.
But some of the rallies you're running, if you're not starting in the afternoon, it's just you're hanging about the whole day. Like you'd rather start if you had to miss stages, you'd rather miss the last three as opposed to missing the first three.
Mhm.
Because everyone's up at 7 o'clock anyway or whatever, early to get ready for a rally every morning. And if you're not starting at 3 o'clock that evening, it drags the day's a whole drag. Like.
You're the whole day waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. And like Declan, from your point of view, like what can you say? This championship, it's on the up. Come get registered. Come and see what It's even better than what we're telling you.
Absolutely, yeah. The numbers have been increasing steadily over the last couple of seasons now, and we're getting a lot of guys from across the water.
Mhm.
There's a lot of local lads starting to build cars as well, or finish cars, and the entry lists are getting fatter, and it's fantastic. And then the competition is getting better every time we go out.
Yeah.
You're always racing someone different.
Yeah.
You
And like Guy touched on something earlier there. The cars have become so reliable. A few years ago, historic rallying, it was a struggle maybe to get the cars to last for 2 days in Donegal. Those days are gone now. Historic cars are every bit as capable of any car in the main field.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a limit as well, of course, to what you can have. So everybody is racing with the same machinery in particular classes, with the exception of the Pintos versus the BDGs, but we're trying to sort that out for next year. At the moment, they're sharing the same class, which would be the same as class 12 and class 13 in the modifieds, which is
It's not fair.
nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's not going to encourage anything. So we're going to try and sort that out if we can. And the Pinto class would be a fabulous class, like to get into historic rallying, for not mental money.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have all the other makes and models. There was a good variety of stuff in Donegal. If you look down the line in Park Ferme, it was fantastic array of machinery, all sorts of fast and slow stuff. So we'll be hoping to build on that as time goes on, and hopefully this new initiative now from the Cork 20 will help us on our way.
Yeah, I think Duncan, just something there Declan touched on, the variety of machines, you'd everything from like a Talbot Samba to a Skoda, to, your Mark II Escorts. Like, that's really what historic rallying's all about. It's not just like a one-make championship where there's such variety of cars and talent there.
Absolutely, and the guys there were two minis. I think there were 2 minis. I think competing Donegal, and they both finished, which was fantastic. You haven't got to be at the front to enjoy historic rallying. It's the taking part. It's the joining in with everybody else. Doing these fantastic stages in whatever car you want to bring along. There's 2 guys in a Skoda. They've had a whale of a time, and you haven't got to be at the front to enjoy it. There's some great class battles to be had. amongst the category, and everyone's welcome to come join us.
For sure. And Michael, too, you chatted earlier about the camaraderie between you. So nearly every event, there's a group photo of everybody. That's something I think that the main field misses out on a wee bit too, because to see all just guys all standing about, and their arms out around each other for that photo, it just shows you're all in it for the one good. The only person you're fighting against the clock, not each other.
Yeah, it was great crack, as we said earlier. And everybody is so helpful if something goes wrong. That they'll give you parts and they'll try and help you. And if you're on the road, or especially service area, like the boys will come over and they'll help you and do. Like Duncan had an experience last year, or other teams come in and helped and change stuff. And it's great to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've seen this in action yourself too. That's pretty special when somebody else is almost willing to lift something out of their van to give it to you to keep you in the rally. Not every sport has that level of friendship in it.
No, they definitely don't. And I mean, we had issue on Atlantic Drive just before location 8. We clipped a rock, bent the strut, and Duncan came back to service. We managed to borrow a strut, and it's just lending the parts, and that kept us in the rally. It did. No two ways about it. And it's just fabulous that it goes on, and people want to do it. They want to see you. Nobody wants to see another historic competitor retire if there's a way that they can be, kept part of the, the party. And
Duncan, that is special. Where else would you get it? You wouldn't get a golfer letting you taking a club out of his bag nearly to give you. That's it's unheard of. But in rallying, that's commonplace.
That's right. Yeah, we've borrowed a fair few items over the years, and I think we're giving all of them back now. But and vice versa. And as Mike said, the help in the service area, we had that issue. I think it was at Cork 20 last year when we had a clutch problem. So the gearbox had to come out and clutch changed and all back together. And we had there's about 20 people under the car, I think. It was
so many legs underneath the car.
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic. I think John, who does a great job for us, I think he'd prefer to only have 3 or 4 under the car. But we got the job done, and this weekend we had, as a guy said, we had the issue with the front strut. Marion Evans very kindly loaned us a strut and steering arm, and John, Huey, and Gino managed to change the strut in time. We went out for the last stage. Would have been the last few stages, but of course they got cancelled. But it turned out that we went out onto the last stage with suspension that we'd never driven on before. We got tracking that was a bit sort of wayward. The steering wheel was pointing at 2 o'clock, and it wasn't perfect. It was John did a fantastic job getting us out there, and we got to the start line of the last stage. We were, I think, Martin McCormack had just left the line. Mike was next, and our radiator burst, or at least steam started coming out of the cap. So we had to pull over and attend to that. Every crew went past us. They were passing us water bottles to put into the radiator. We got the fire service were there helping us put water in and let the pressure out the radiator, let it cool down. We eventually got it going. The course closing car was on the start line, and we managed to persuade them to sort of pull back a bit so that we can have a go on the last stage. So we were the last car to go through, and fortunately we beat Michael by 7 seconds in the process, which was quite pleasing, really.
It must have dried out a bit, did it?
Well, I don't know what happened there, honestly. I don't know what happened, but a bit of anger, I think. A bit of anger, frustration.
It was good to say it. You done well, fair play.
Yeah.
Yeah, our trick didn't work.
Yeah.
Our trick didn't work. It obviously you still managed to get into the stage. We tried to sabotage your car.
That's what the toolkit was for, Declan.
And then just before we wrap up, we should make a special mention. Declan and Michael just got the Knockalla fastest time. There's like a lovely trophy to go along with that. I'm saying that'll take pride of place in the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, I actually have it, Kevin, because I get it for the first 6 months because I'm younger.
He's like a spoiled child. You have to let him have his way sometimes.
No, Duncan, it's way bigger than that. It's a way bigger than that, Tony.
This one, you mean?
What can I say? Great lads there, and Duncan. You practically have the championship won, but hopefully they know West Cork, or not West Cork, Cork 20 will tell its tale, and that will sort that all out for you, and you'll get your hands on the big trophy then. Also we should mention, Martin McCormick out in the M3. Oh, Connor, what can we say? Class.
Oh,
music.
Class and disappointed. I only
Yeah.
got him to see once over Knockalla.
Mhm.
And it was cracking to see him coming up through the bends in Knockalla, lovely, and the sound of that car. But yeah, just a disappointment that unfortunately that they had to retire.
Yeah, for sure. But they were back out again on Sunday, and the echo of that thing coming through Atlantic Drive will be one of those noises that'll just stay with me for a long, long time. Also, another car that I just love seeing out was Liam Regan out in the wee Skoda, the wee Estelle. My childhood, yes, I'm a bit of a weirdo, but I had great fascination with Ladas and Skodas. Still drive a Skoda to this day. So that was just things like that make my day. I just love the oddball of it.
Oh, listen, look, there's a novelty value. And again, great to see Liam swapping seats and driving for a change. We're used to seeing him sitting beside William there on the, what do you call it, in the junior WRC. So great to see Liam out competing, behind the wheel this time.
Yeah, for sure. And the reception the wee Skoda got over the weekend too, up Knockalla, the amount of people waving and cheering, I think that's class, really is, So. And then, somebody else that got a great reception over the weekend was Jason Mc Connon. As I say, we spoke to him last week, and he was giving us kind of his thoughts on how, what his thoughts were going to be before Donegal. So we thought, we'll catch up with him again and find out, was it as good as what he hoped for? So, Jason, we had you on last week, and you were telling us how much you were looking forward to Donegal. I felt it was only right to get you back on. How was Donegal?
I suppose it was everything. It was everything I thought multiplied by 100. It is what, like, people, I suppose, blows it up and says this, but it is a very, very special event. And I suppose the only competing in it, you got to see that side of it. And I think for me and Danny, even today, like, it's still very. It didn't really sink in yet. It's only for the videos, you actually wouldn't believe you'd done it. It's just that it's crazy, But yeah, it is. It's a very special event. Yeah,
I was chatting to another fellow that was out taking photos over the weekend, and his brother was competing for the first time as well. And he said he was totally blown away. You go to a junction, you see a crowd, but that's everywhere. It's not just one junction, it's nearly every junction. It's the same.
Everywhere. Like, I've done a couple of the supercar rallies for charities and stuff, and it's a similar sort of idea in regards to crowds and stuff. But as you said, that might be in a town, but Donegal, like, you're in even the backside of Glen, like, there's nothing. And you're just crowds of people. Like, you just wonder how did they get there? And like, it's every junction, every crest, every jump. It actually worked out pretty well though, because if I saw a crowd in the distance, I always knew it was probably a dodgy corner or a dodgy jump. So I was using, and if I saw someone with a camera, I said, right, there's something happening here. So it was a good way of putting red in the notes.
Yeah, and like then the epic stages, your Knockgallas, Atlantic Drives, Fanads, like. Are they everything we us spectators dream of, the chance to drive those stages?
Oh, look, I'm standing up the second hairpin of Knockalla for I don't know how many years, and to go up that in a rally car and come up over the other side of it, and you're just looking at the ocean. It is like that's the most alive anyone's going to be. Like, that is pretty special. And it is. It really is. And even on that stage, the caravans, the camper vans, the people out and sitting on top of rocks, and it's just the best way. It's almost like a festival, just a rally festival. It really is. And it's only yesterday, I suppose, we come off the high of it all, and you go back to work and you're like, Oh yes, and it is. It's not what it was like. It really does. Like you're living, you are like you definitely are on this high over the weekend. There's a massive build up and the ceremony will start and the buzz of that and everything. It's hard not to go hard to go mad.
Yeah, we should give a shout out. Dennis Ferry this year put a lot of effort into the ceremonial start, and it has lifted it to another level. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, without a doubt. Like, and I think Irish Rally needs more of that, bringing the rally into the people. People having a look around the cars and meeting different drivers and navigators and learning about it. And I think that's very, very important. So the more that happens, definitely so the better.
Yeah, and even the wee things like having posters to give out to kids to get, their autographs, wee flags, wee things like that. It doesn't cost the club no fortune, but like people will take that home and they'll treasure it for a lifetime.
Well, there's a perfect example. Hanging up on the wall is a picture Ali Fisher was given at the time. What is it? He was in the group N Evo, and he was signing them. Like I still have that, so that's the perfect example. It works like, and what's that? That's probably 8, 9, 10, but whatever it is, years. So yeah, that sort of stuff works, and the flags and everything. It's just building it up, and people never forget it.
Yeah, for sure. And those kids done watching this with their mouths wide open could be the rally stars of the future.
Oh, without a doubt, especially the way things are going, people are starting younger and younger. Like, so I'm 24, like, and I'm probably too old to be starting it, but however, it is what it is.
Yeah, because you look at the junior 1000s now. I think it's 14 or whatever it is they can start, which is unreal.
Like, and that is what an opportunity. Like, karting's brilliant and everything, but I suppose if you want to go rallying, being let loose in the woods in any car, never mind what power it is that's cool. Like, really that is cool.
It really is. And then, from a competition point of view, your class, what can we say? Like, you're up against some tough opposition, and it's great to be able to have that comparison, that you're comparing yourself against the best of Irish rallying.
Well, look, if in fairness, one class that does not get near enough, I suppose mentions is the RC4 class. Like the pace them guys are at is incredible. Like beating R5s and front wheel drive cars, like it is super quick. Obviously we have the older generation cars, so we wouldn't have the gizmos and the launches and the anti-lags and stuff. But even at that, like you really, it is insane the pace they're at. But there's a couple of R2 cars there as well. So it was the first rally we done that we actually had no problems, and we could just go at it and enjoy it. And there was, as I said, there's a couple of R2 cars, so it's nice to actually be able to look at other times and compare and what other people's doing. And before this, you're putting yourself up maybe against a Civic or, as I said, an RC4 car, and there's obviously big differences. So it's nice to know where you sit.
Yeah, for sure. And then we talked last week about the power of social media. Like you have now took that social media, applied it to Donegal. What was the response like online?
Well, I'm still getting messages. Like it's insane. Like, and I'm getting videos and I'm getting photographs. And I suppose for a long time, a lot of the events we were doing was single day events, and because when the entry list came out, we were always at the back of it. By the time we got in the service, everyone was out in the stages. So in Donegal, it was great. I was able to meet a lot of the people who I knew their names, but never got a chance to meet them since this whole journey. So you're meeting a lot of people that you didn't get an opportunity to meet before and spend time, and the amount of friendships you build up and everything. Even this weekend, like it compares to nothing else, and it's only purely because of social media. It's for nothing else.
Yeah.
And then of course when you come home, people's texting you, and you're able to get back and you communicate, and it's as I said the last time, it just does prove how powerful the whole thing is.
Yeah, because even the podcast, people come up to me there over the weekend, and the kind of words I had to say about the podcast, and it still blows my mind. I'm sitting here in the house, and people are in the
It is very surreal, like. And I remember the first stage we went out to, and there was loads of people waving. The day I shouted to Danny, I said, "They're yoke off. What's the story?" He said, "No, they're scanning." He says, "I said, oh my god!" Like there wasn't a ditch we went by that somebody wasn't trying to do something. It was brilliant. Like we had some laughs in the car. It was, and again, that's just social media for you. No, it was brilliant. Like I have to say, it was really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, and yes, TikTok and all this here. But to meet people is there's something very special about pressing the flesh, as they used to say.
Well, this is it. Like it goes both ways. Like I suppose we had an accident in Cork that time when we started rallying, and I think everyone has seen it. And ever since then, the whole thing has been very, very negative. And every time we went out in Galway, the engine blew. Then we done Cavan, and we were going well, and the steering rack decided I had enough. So we never got a run at things at all, and it was so frustrating. And we were trying to keep in love with it, and we needed Donegal to go well. And in fairness, I suppose on a serious note, like me and Danny put a lot of work into videos and watching onwards of people before, and I suppose we made notes in such a way that where it was good to push, we pushed, and where it was bad, we backed off because we really wanted to finish. And just to get that, it was like winning the rally, and even true as a result on social media, like it was just nice for a change to have a lot of positivity. So with the bad comes the good, but this weekend in particular, our full weekends went very well. So we're glad of that.
Yeah, and I've been even talking to other people. Like, there's whatever it is about the atmosphere in Donegal, it lifts you, as a driver, the co-driver, even the service crew. It lifts you to go beyond what your expectations.
Yeah, there's a couple of bits I says we'll take it easy, and then you see the crowds and you go at it. So I suppose coming into Glen and stuff, it is when you come out that left and then you're heading out the road. It's mega. It really is mega. As you said, you meet people, and it's like a concert atmosphere. You get held up with the whole thing, and it brings you with it, and you're a passenger at that stage in regards to that, so.
Yeah, and the old story, no one get left behind. There's stories like I spoke to a guy yet last night. His engine blew in the first stage.
That's right.
And he got an engine, was able to go out and compete Saturday and Sunday. I think it was 50 or 60 calls offering engines. Getting them, helping them get sorted. That's amazing. That's just the power of rallying, the power of social media. He put a post up on Facebook. He got an engine. So.
Absolutely, I'm nearly sure if you put up on social media you're looking for a Concorde pilot to fly you tomorrow, you probably get one. It's insane, and if you don't get one, somebody's going to know somebody.
Especially in Ireland.
It is, but it's a real Irish thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And I think we're lucky as well, the sport that we're in. You look at the Bomnokala, and you have all the top lads, and even the time Ken Block was over, and you had Craig Breen and all our heroes, and you can just walk up to them. Yeah. You don't get that in Formula 1. There's no red tape. It's just they're there in front of you. Yeah. It is what you make of it. So I think the sport that we have is we often take it for granted in that regards, but it's I suppose social media in that sense as well makes it very personal. Before this, if you look at the likes of maybe the days of Eugene Donnelly and all that, there was no social media, so you only knew them through on the limits. Absolutely, yeah. You only knew from them interviews, and people then create a perception or whatever. I think with social media, it gives everyone a chance to be themselves and create a personality and a story behind it. And I think people really levitate towards it, and they buy into it. Mm-hmm. They feel like they're a part of the journey, and I think that's pretty clear, especially after the weekend we had. It was we had a lot of people with a lot of nice stuff to say, and I suppose they're following us since we didn't have a great run. So it's cool. It is cool.
For sure. And that obviously increases your profile. More people follow you, the more people will get the positive news about rallying.
Yeah, this is it. Absolutely, that's what it's all about. As I said the last time, we're here to enjoy ourselves, and I suppose in Donegal, of course, we had McCaffrey's bars on board, so it was important to get a finish, and of course to keep the reputation and everything up. And I think everyone finished, which was great. And of course, the Sunday night in McCaffrey took out. It was just some crack, But that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And of course, we had CBM signs there, Letterkenny based as well. So it was important because Donegal was very good to us, so we wanted to give it back, and I'm glad we did it. So.
Excellent. Well, Jason, it's been an absolute pleasure. And where's the thoughts to next? Where's the plan to go now, or is it recoup and look at the?
Oh no, I'll do Donegal again tomorrow. I'm ready to go. And it was great. We took the car off the trailer. We came home and I took the car off the trailer and washed it, and it's ready to go. Well, it has to get prepped, but there's nothing to be done to it. It's great. It makes for a nice change. So no, hopefully if we get an entry for Sligo, we'll definitely go there because. Again, Gracie's bars are Sligo and Carrick and Shannon, so it'd be a nice one just to tie that in. So we'll aim for that.
Yeah, it was brilliant to hear the perspective. We had the before and now we had the after from Jason, so good to hear. And look, Sligo's not that far away. Hopefully we'll see him out again. For sure. And then, another story that I seen it on social media, the power of social media. Josh Harris blew his engine only a few kilometres into the very first stage last Friday morning. It could have been so easy just to put your head and just go and cry in the corner, but no. Fair play to Josh. He didn't let that get him down. He put up a post on social media, looking to see if anybody would help him out, and he was inundated with offers of help. People towing him into service, getting them engines, offering them engines, all different things. But again,
Josh will tell you the story far better than me. And, we keep going on about how great the rallying tradition is. This is, Harris, a name in Donegal that's synonymous with rally. His grandfather, his father, his uncle, what can we say? Anyway, more from Josh.
No, I thought everything was going well, and we had the recce done, everything prepared, ready to go. Car was going good for about 5 minutes, and out of nowhere, just bang. That was it. Cloud of smoke. Thought the party was over, so stopped on the side of the stage, and I thought that was my rally over at that stage.
Yeah, and like that, like as you say, you're right, done, you took all the time, time off work, all that money, and it all went up in a cloud of smoke. But you weren't going to let a cloud of smoke put you down?
No, I was kind of in disbelief for a while now, to be honest, and I kind of it wasn't until I got back to service that I started thinking, right, no, we're not going to just let that beat us, like, we'll try and get something sorted here. But it took us, we were still nearly in Ballyshannon. We had about 4 or 5 different men give us tows at different point to get back down the road through the traffic, and then we got into service and then started making the calls, then putting up Facebook posts, and every man was trying to get something sorted. So
Yeah, like, isn't that the great thing about rallying? Like, nobody's ever going to let leave a man behind. Everybody does their best to bring everybody with them.
oh, that's it, definitely. Like, and then like, so many offers of help from everybody. Like, there's even guys like young Charlie Brown offered to lend me an engine, even just to get me away, and then obviously then I bought an engine then, just because I was going to have to buy an engine anyway, so it was well put it in the once and putting it in twice. But there were so many offers of help, and everybody was offering to help, even to put it in or to get me something sorted. And I think when I counted up that evening, I think I had about 65 phone calls on my phone for the time that night was over. So
Mike, and again, what can we say? Like that, that's so brilliant that people are prepared, and like there, a lot of them people are competing themselves, but to take the time to try and help you out as well too, and like they've probably 101 other things to be worrying about themselves.
oh, that's it. But nobody ever sees anybody else stuck. Like, even if they're doing the rally themselves, they always take the time to get every man sorted. So
Yeah, and like not only yourself had, you had to have guys then to, to get the car stripped out and get the engine out and get another engine in.
oh, that's it. No, I was very lucky to have a very good service crew in Reed Motorsport, and they they had 8 cars, I think, to service for that day, and they still took the time that evening. We go back to Kilkenny, they all stayed on and got the engine out, and I was away. They were that quick at taking it out. I was late getting back with the other engine. They were all standing waiting on me, so they were the engine out and all, and I was just got back in, and they just straight away just dove into it and got everything transferred over, and it's on the crane and launched in there then. So
Yeah, and like they had been putting in, I'm sure, a lot of late nights and long days leading up to the event. Like, so another late night was probably the last thing they wanted, but again, they were going to do whatever it took.
no, that's it. Like, they never see you stuck. Like, and I nearly felt bad. I asked them as I got the engine started. I was like, right, boys, what was the story about getting this engine tonight? They said, "I throw her up. We'll see what we can do." So, but no, there was no bother to them now. There's 4 or 5 men around her, and they're no problem. Like, they put it in and out in no time. So
Yeah, and like that, Paul Reed Motorsport, for anybody that doesn't know, like Paul was the guy that run like Kevin Gallagher and Damien Tourish, the top two and the two-wheel drive. But
yeah.
Not only do they run top cars, they run everybody. Like it's a great family-run outfit there too, as well, isn't it?
Oh, they're brilliant. When you go in and the tea and the sandwiches are sitting there for you, his wife Virginia and his daughters, and they're all there, and everybody's helping out. It's great now. So
Yeah, like again, like just like a name that's synonymous with Donegal rallying is the Reid family, but like the Harris family too. Like you're steeped in rallying too. Like I say, you've been going to the international and all the other events around Donegal since you were knee high to a grasshopper.
oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm the 3rd generation in it now. So my father, my grandfather, my uncles, and my younger cousin now, he's doing the J1000 championship as well, Jack. So and so we're all stuck in at some road. So.
And like we should say, your father is Paul Harris, a man that nearly won the Donegal rally. Like a few great memories of growing up with them days. That we think of the Yellow Sierra, the legacy, all like even
I
Crawler
wouldn't
WRC.
remember. I was still very, very young in that time. Like, I would have been only maybe 3 or 4 in them days. Now I wouldn't remember much about that. I remember kind of the early 2000s, them days, but I wouldn't remember much of the 90s now, to be honest. But
Yeah. But the Corolla, like, you remember the Corolla WRC? Like,
oh yeah, I remember the Corolla, yeah.
It was some piece of kit then too in its day too. So
yeah, No, like Donegal. I remember one of the rallies I remember most watching would be Donegal in '07 when Sebastian Loeb done the rally, and Dad was doing it in the Corolla that year as well. I think he finished fourth maybe, but it was one of the best years. I remember watching it anyway, so it was.
Yeah. I like, as I say, and then your grandfather before him too, like one of the stalwarts of the club when it was been set up and all too, like, it was names like your grandfather, and then, your father and your uncle continued, like, took rallying in Donegal to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Granda, he still helps out. He came up with a jeep and the trailer to lift me on Friday too, so he did. So he's still he's still stuck in as well. So
Yeah, and then you got going again. Had to take the car down Saturday morning and put her through scrutineering again. And then how did it go from there?
yeah, it went good. We were glad to get out. I was far more nervous on Saturday morning than I was on Friday morning. Just that I don't know why. It was just because everything that happened and the effort everybody went to go to the car, get the car ready. I was afraid then of anything else going wrong after all the effort. And the only big moment I had in the weekend was probably in the first stage of Saturday morning. So it was just, but it's probably just nerves. But then we got settled down, and now we had a good few runs to the stages. The only problem was that we were running at the back of the field. Then we got a lot of stages where we kind of got all the cancelled stages and that kind of stuff, But we still probably got about half of the stages, I'd say, and that we would have got otherwise, So we were happy enough to get anything after Friday morning. We thought it wasn't going to get any mileage. We still got all the stages we wanted to get. The Saturday and Sunday is always the best stages anyway. So
You get doing the classic stages anyway, and like from like me as like I'm just a spectator. Like, what is it like sitting at the start line of somewhere like Knockalla or Fanna or something? Like, does that sense of history get to you? Is there butterflies there?
Knockalla, especially, when the crowd's there at the start. No other stage really has a crowd at the start line like Knockalla does, and it's sitting there, and we get up, and it kind of came on us very quick in Knockalla, and we had our belts ready, and we were panicking, we were getting the belts tightened, and there was about 10 seconds left in the clock by the time we were actually just got everything sorted to go, and you go down and you go up the hairpin, and the crowds is great. Like, it is. The Knockalla would be my favorite stage of the rally, but it's something else. Like, it's unreal. So
Yeah, because there is something very special, especially that from the start up round the the hill climb and all that too. Like, it's such a natural amphitheater. The crowds on the hill. Even this year they were lining the whole way up. From the hairpin up to the top
especially
hairpin.
from years of watching it, when you're actually in it, then it's surreal. So it is. So
Yeah, it's a real pinch yourself moment, I would say.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then you got to the finish. A great way to reward all the effort and all the guys put in.
Oh, that's it. Definitely. That's all. That was the back of my mind. Then just have to get to the finish, just for for everybody done, like, to pull us out. And Connor Morrison, who's on the notes for me, hasn't done a rally since 2012 in the harvest, and he did a great job. So he came on, and I was kind of stuck for navigator before the rally too, and he came on and did a good job. So we were happy out to get to the finish. So I was kind of got it for him too, because I thought his first run, his first time doing the Donegal. I done it last year, but I thought, I was second. He might only got half a stage, but I'm glad to get going again. So
I like that. That's it. Rallying is a team sport. It's not just you, the driver. It's the co-driver and everybody. Yes, your server crew and all that there too. But it's people at work allowing you to have the time to go and do your recce and do the rally as well. All those things, are maybe unseen by the spectators, but they're all a vital part of the whole thing.
oh, definitely, yeah. Like, I took the week off from working out leading up to the rally, just a piece to get everything sorted with the recce and everything else, and that's a battle and so on too. Just we have two kids now, 2 under 2 at the house as well, so it's busy at home, and it's hard getting the time to get away and to do these things too. So it's a big help. Everybody even helps out at home to get the time to go away and do these things. So
Yeah, that's really. I think even your partner giving you the time and the headspace to do that as well too. You have to give a big shout out to her as well, I would say.
oh, big shout out to her as well. Yeah, she's watching the kids all weekend, and she's actually back to work that weekend too. She was back from maternity, so she was working. She's working nighttime. I had to leave Paul's early on Friday night to go let the babysitter away. So I did to get. I was late. I was never late letting the babysitter away on Friday night, getting the engine and whatnot. So we have to thank all them people as well. So
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, like, you got to the finish. Is that it now? Maybe the harvest later in the year. Have you any thoughts of anything else maybe between then?
I will possible see. You'll probably not. That's that many bills to pay this week now. That I wasn't. Some of them I wasn't expecting as well. So we'll just need to take time now and regroup now and see what's next on the cards then. So.
But Josh, a fantastic story, and I think it's things like that there, that really make the Donegal Rally something special. That you go to all that effort, you weren't going to let a blown engine, destroy your opportunity, your dream of competing in Donegal.
No, definitely not. No, but it's one I'll not forget anyway. That's for sure.
That's for sure. One you can tell the grandkids in a few years' time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Look, that was a great story and a heartwarming story there from Josh. And again, just shows you, as you say, the power of the rally community and everybody pulling together to make sure, the guys and the girls out there competing get to the end of the rally where possible.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And another brilliant story is I got the chance to catch up with Josh McErlean, who was competing on the TET rally in Latvia. It's part of the ERC, which Josh is undertaking this year. But it's also going to be a round of the WRC next year. So it was a chance for Josh to experience Latvia and do a little bit of prep prior to, it being a WRC round next year.
Yeah, they can look to be an epic rally. The conditions, like Donegal, were very changeable. And the level of competition in the ERC this year is outstanding.
Oh, it's mental. The amount of ex-WRC people or current WRC people at various levels taking part in the ERC is incredible. We have the Finnish junior champion took part with Mads Osberg was taking part, Hayden Padden, Martin Sesks, who won the rally last year and is competing in the WRC this year. Just really is. It's the ERC's come alive again, and it's attracting the top talent back, and it's great to see.
Mm-hmm. And one of our boys, Josh, is up there mixing it with them.
Absolutely. Josh had a fantastic 4th overall. On the power stage, they were 3rd quickest. Just amazing. And had a familiar face back in the co-driver's seat with them for the weekend.
Yeah, great to see James back there with him again just for the weekend as well too. We all know what's happened to James the last few months, and to see him back in a rally car and being back at the top of the time sheet's fantastic to see.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. But look, no point in us talking about it. Let's hear from Josh. So, Josh, an eventful rally Latvia. Fantastic finish, 4th overall, and also clocking up 3rd fastest on the power stage as well, picking up some extra points. How was the weekend?
No, I think it was a very solid weekend from the whole team. Everyone put in a huge amount of effort to obviously get there, but yeah, to do the job we done that weekend from the engineers to the team and to obviously James as well in the academy, it was quite an effort to get round and to get 3rd in the first stage in a proper battle was very good to end the weekend.
And you mentioned James there, so John Rome was off doing Donegal for the weekend, and you were reunited with James Fulton.
Yeah, it was good to have Fuzzy back in the car, and I think it was a good result. Obviously, Portugal didn't go so well with him with Chris, so it was good to get him back and get him back in the groove. And he done a tremendous job all weekend, and it was great to see.
And look, you've obviously got a great relationship there. Last time you had a bit of seat time together was it Spain last year? So
yeah,
it probably felt like he was never out of the car, I'm sure, once you got underway.
No, it was quite a familiar voice to hear in the car. So no, it didn't take long to get up to speed in that there. So no, it was great to have him back, and it was well overdue, I would say.
And what seems to be a bit of a pattern this year for you, very mixed weather conditions and rain coming in to play a part. So stage 1 started out from what I could read and see, extremely dusty and difficult conditions. How did you find that?
Yeah, stage 1 was very demanding. It was 27 kilometers to start with, and 2-minute gaps with the dust. And we originally thought it wouldn't be so bad, but as we got into the stage, it proved that it was quite incredible. And I think we caught like 30 seconds in the person in front, so it was down to 1:30, let's say, the gap from the car in front. And the dust was quite extreme, and it was quite dangerous places, to be honest. But we got through it, we survived it, and the second pass of that stage was cancelled because of the dust. And the rain started coming down, and as I said, I never welcomed rain so much in my life, as it solved the dust problem. But we had to get to work because we were quite a bit down in the leaderboard, and we wanted to make amends.
And what do you call it then? As you say, stage 2 was cancelled then, into 3 and the rain and that. So, 2-day event. So how did the first day go for you? Was it, apart from the weather conditions, were there any other difficulties there?
Yeah, not so much. It was more so, okay, the weather was what it was, but it was the same for everyone. We were quite far up in the road position as well. The stage was still cleaning, let's say, even if it was raining. But we made the best what we could of in the situation we were in, and yeah, we chipped away, and I think we ended the first day in 8th overall, so the road position wasn't so bad going into day 2. We knew from the test and it's past events that we could improve the setup overnight from what we experienced. Obviously, the grip wasn't so high with the rain and the loose surface, so we kind of knew the direction we needed to go overnight and to try and make changes. So we did that, and yeah, I think in Sunday morning it proved to be a good step.
And you were quoted on the overnight, you'd be putting your big boy pants on as well. And like, in fairness, like, you're up against like a Mads Osberg, Hayden Padden, Robert Vives, Martin Sesks, McErlean, like some fantastic names that you're competing with, and I'm sure the competition was pretty severe.
Yeah, I think it's quite a high level. There's no doubt about that, and to be racing the likes of Mads Osberg and Hayden Padden, who's obviously been in the WRC for a long time and has a lot of experience of them type of stages and the fast nature of them. But yeah, I think it's a good benchmark to go off Padden, as he's in the same car, same tires, same situation really with the whole package. So no, he's a good benchmark for us, and to get close to him and even beat him in some stages is very encouraging going forward, obviously with the whole program. But I think it shows we've took a good step this year, and hopefully we can keep on building on that.
And from your perspective, is now that you've been competing in a few rallies against Mads and that, what do you call it? Is I suppose maybe less nerves or less. You're maybe not as fearful of them, or you'll not hold back, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think so. These type of results give you good confidence going forward. The likes of going into the first stage, it was basically 4th to 7th was all in a battle, and whoever came out on top in the first stage was going to take 4th place. So yeah, we wanted to push on. We were given the free rope to go for it, and I think we done a lot of work before the first stage in the regrip with the onboard, and we tried to work on it with James as best as possible. And yeah, we put a lot into the first stage, and it seemed to work out okay. I think we were 3rd fastest, which it was good points for the first stage. But I think overall it gave us 3rd place points of the rally, which is very good. Okay for the ERC, but that's not our ultimate aim this season. But it was good to have that and to obviously show speed when we needed to.
Yeah, and I suppose even before the par stage, like, conditions were tricky. One of the stages there was a lot of standing water. Another stage was affected with very deep ruts. You had a lot to contend with, I suppose, even before getting to the par stage.
Yeah, it's quite a unique situation because obviously going to WRC events, you've got WRC Plus to compare stages and what they deteriorate and what the ruts can develop throughout the stages, but these stages were quite new and no one really had any knowledge of them. And I think the ruts in the second last stage surprised a lot of people. Everyone, I don't think, expected them to be so deep, and okay, you can adjust car setup for this, and I don't think many did. But yeah, you're in these situations, you have to manage them, and we knew getting out last stage, if we hadn't been lost so much, we could push on the per stage. So it was in managing the ruts and then having a proper go at the last one.
Rally Latvia, obviously this year round of the ERC, which you're doing the championship, but also a round of the WRC next year. So was there that double advantage there for you to get a bit of experience for next year?
Yeah, without doubt, I think it's a big advantage going into next year. These stages are quite unique. Okay, you're going to Baltic countries, you think they're all the same, but they change slightly, and it's knowing how the conditions deteriorate and when the ruts develop and what stages. So no, I think it was good to have some of them dry, some of them wet, to get the all-round, let's say, overall picture of what it can be like. And yeah, going into next year, I think it'll be an incredible rally to see a Rally 1 car going through them stages, because they're it's probably one of the fastest rallies I've ever done.
Yeah, I've heard a description of it, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it's somewhere a combination between Estonia and Poland. Would that kind of sum up what the stages are like in Latvia?
Yeah, it's probably an in between. You probably think the speeds of Finland's quite fast, but I would say this rally is probably faster. And yeah, okay, it might not have the jumps and crests, but it has the commitment. And yeah, it was good to go there. Obviously, we're going to Estonia later in the year and Finland, so to have these speeds and this commitment to rely on is quite good going forward, and to know that we're thereabouts.
And up next for you is the next ERC round in Sweden. What's the preparation, or what will you be able to do to prepare for that?
It's quite a unique one. I think everyone thinks of Sweden going to the snow. It's hard to know what the roads are like. Okay, we've been talking to some people, and I think they're more or less similar to Finland, surface and, let's say, the character of the stages. But yeah, there's no onboards, there's no, let's say, past events that's really used these stages. Collins Crest is in their event, but it's in gravel, so there's not much point of looking at Sweden's onboard from February to try to see what the stages is like. But yeah, Recce, like Latvia, Recce is going to be seriously important, and I think if we go with the same mentality going into Latvia, it'll be a good start to go into Recce with.
And you mentioned onboards there, and in Latvia, you were actually carrying the ERC cameras, which was great to see as in action. Will there be an option for that in Sweden, or too early to say yet?
No, the onboard camera actually stayed in the car from Latvia, so it's going to be in for Sweden again. So hopefully we can show some more high-speed clips. And
what do you call it? Obvious question I have to ask, especially with Kevin being involved in the podcast. Did you get a chance to keep an eye on Donegal while you were away?
Yeah, we were actually watching most of the stages between the stages we were doing. It's obviously great to follow the rallying back home, but hopefully one day or some day soon we'll get the chance to come back and do something, because if Rally Ireland's going to take off, it'll be a good step forward to do some mileage at home to try to get the pace up again.
Absolutely. And unfortunate for John there, himself and David, what do you call it, had issues with the car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the rally in general, I think, was a huge success, and it was great to see Callum take the win. He's tried for many years now, and he had the speed for a long time, but yeah, to get it all together and to finally get over the line was great to see, and Noel as well. So no, it looked like a great weekend.
Yeah, huge thanks to Josh again. Like that, he's clocking up some air miles at the moment between all the different rounds of ERC and WRC championships. So appreciate Josh taking the time to chat to us. He's only home for a few days before he heads off again. And then a few other friends of the podcast were competing as well. So John Armstrong was 18th overall, and that Fiesta RC3 is looking absolutely fantastic. And again, he beat everybody else in his class. So, great to see, and really M Sport are making leaps and bounds with that car. And then we had Eamon Kelly and Conor Mohan were competing as well. Top 25 result. And again, getting seat time, much, valuable seat time, to help them with their junior WRC campaign this year. And then also in preparation for Rally Latvia next year. Chance for them to see the stages. And then another friend of the show, we had Aoife Raftery, was taking part as well. And again, Aoife was in the top 10 of her class, so in the junior ERC class. So again, another great result there, and a chance for Aoife to clock up some international mileage as well and get that bit of experience. So like, again, MI Academy, what can we say that we haven't said already? But it's just fantastic the support they're giving, to their drivers and co-drivers, and getting them out there to get the experience.
Yeah, because also, Ronan and Lorcan were out in San Remo. I was in San Remo last weekend. Yeah, as part of the FIA Rally Star. I can't think of any more superlatives for MI Rally Academy. It's just every week, it gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better. It's just, yeah. But, no doubt we'll talk about it much, much more again. But anyway, that's it for this week. That was Season 2, Episode 18. Hopefully we'll be back to full steer next week again, and even more Donegal stories. That's the plan. So until then, next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.